Sometimes the things we choose not to say are much more important than the loudest words we could ever yell from a rooftop. When you decide to stop talking and just be quiet, it is not just a change that she sees with her eyes or hears with her ears. It is something that she feels deep down inside her body, right in the middle of her chest. It is a heavy feeling that sits there and tells her a truth that she just cannot turn away from. When you stop your side of the conversation, that is exactly when her mind starts to work very hard. It is the moment when she begins to think more than she ever has before. Hello, my friend. It is really good to have you here with us today. We are a group of caring experts who want to help you understand how the heart and the mind work together. Today, I am going to explain exactly what goes on inside a woman's head when you choose to be still and keep your thoughts to yourself. If you have ever sat there in the quiet and wondered what she is secretly thinking, when you do not pick up your phone, when you do not send that quick text message, or when you finally stop trying to chase after her, then this guide is going to help you see things in a whole new way. I want to ask you to please stay with me until the very end of our talk. This is because once you truly understand how this process works, you will realize something very special. You will realize that you never have to beg for anyone's attention ever again in your whole life. It is a very big realization, and I want you to feel that peace. 1. Her pride and her feelings of being special. Start talking to her first. When you go quiet, the very first thing that starts to shake inside her is not actually her heart. It is not even her love for you yet. Instead, it is her pride. You see, for many women, they live in a world where attention is like a constant song playing in the background of their lives. It is everywhere they go. They get little pings and dings on their phones all day long. They see likes on their pictures from people they know and even people they don't. They notice people looking at them when they walk down the street or buy a coffee. They get nice words from friends and sometimes from strangers too. For most women, this kind of attention is so common that it feels like the very air they breathe every single day. They do not even realize how much they need it until it suddenly stops blowing. When you, the man who used to be a big part of that daily noise, suddenly pull your energy back and stop talking, the silence does not just feel quiet. To her, it feels like a big insult. Her pride starts having a very long conversation with her before her real feelings even have a chance to wake up and see what is happening. She starts asking herself questions in her head like, why hasn't he called me yet? Or, has he really forgotten about me already? Or even worse, does he not even want me anymore? At the very beginning of this silence, she will try very hard to act like it does not bother her one bit. She will try to brush it off and act like everything is perfectly fine and normal. She will tell herself that she is far too important and far too beautiful to be worrying about what one guy is doing. She might laugh about the situation with her best friends or pretend that it does not matter to her at all. She might even go online and post a very pretty picture of herself or a video showing her having a great time to show everyone that she is living her best life. But deep down inside, that one tiny question starts to bother her more and more as the hours pass. She wonders, why him? Why is he the only person in my life who is not giving me the attention I am so used to getting from every other person? This is the moment where being quiet becomes much louder than any words you could ever say to her. It is because our pride hates being ignored much more than our hearts hate being hurt. Most people can handle being told no if it is done clearly and loudly, but silence is a different animal. Silence makes her wonder and guess. Silence creates a big, empty space in her head where her mind can run wild with all sorts of scary thoughts. And in that empty space, her pride starts to lose its balance. This is why being quiet is such a strong move for you to make. It does not just make her curious about what you are doing, it makes her feel unsure about who she is. It changes the whole story she has been telling herself. One minute, she feels like a queen sitting on a high throne, watching all the men fight and jump around just to get her to look at them. But when you go silent, she suddenly feels like she is the one waiting and guessing and hoping. She starts to doubt herself and her power. This shift shakes her confidence in a big way. It is very important for you to understand that when her pride is hurt like this, she will not show it to you right away. She is too smart for that. Instead, she will act very cold toward you. She will act like she is very far away, maybe even on a different planet. She might even try to make you feel a little bit jealous by talking to others. But all of those actions are just a mask she is wearing. They are there to cover up what is really happening deep inside of her heart. And what is really happening is this. She is thinking about you much more than she wants to admit to anyone, especially herself. Most men never get to see this point because they never stay silent for long enough. They feel a strong need to chase her, to call her 10 times, to text her long paragraphs, and to explain themselves over and over. But if you can just hold your ground and let the quiet stay in the room, you will realize something very important. Your silence is not a sign that you are weak or that you have given up. It is a sign that you are in total control of yourself. The very second she starts to question herself, that is when she quietly and secretly starts to chase you. 2. She tries to see how patient you really are. When you stop talking, do not think for one single second that she is going to come running back into your arms right away with a big smile. That is not usually how it works in real life. A woman's mind is often built to wait and see what happens next. Her first thought is usually not, "Oh, I miss him so much," but rather, "Let me see how long he can go without talking to me." It is a test of your strength. She might not even realize she is doing it, but she is testing you like a bridge to see if it will break. Think about it this way. Silence is like a loud alarm bell going off in her brain. At first, it hits her pride. But then, once she sees that you still haven't broken the silence and that you are still being quiet, she changes her plan. She thinks, if I just wait a little bit longer, he will give up. He will be the one to come crawling back to me and say he is sorry. She wants to check how strong you are as a man. Deep down, every woman wants to know what kind of man she is dealing with. She wants to know if you are the kind of person who falls apart and cries when things get tough, or if you are the kind of person who can stand tall and stay calm even during a big scary storm. So, she will start playing little games to test your patience. She might take a very long time to reply to you if you do happen to message her for some reason. She might look at your social media posts but never click like or say anything. She might post things that she knows will grab your eye. Maybe a picture of her out at night with friends, a new dress that looks great on her, or even a photo with another guy standing nearby. None of this is an accident or a coincidence. It is all a silent test to see if you will lose your cool and get upset or angry. This is where most men fail the test. They just cannot handle the waiting part of the game. They see her post a picture with someone else and they start to panic. They get scared that they are losing her forever and they rush to send a long, emotional text message. They pour out all their feelings and try to fix everything in one go. But when they do that, they have actually just given her all the power. She smiles to herself because now she knows that you were never truly being silent or strong. You were just waiting for her to notice you. The moment she showed a little bit of resistance, you folded like a piece of paper. But here is the true power of being quiet lives. If you do not fold, and if you stand firm like a rock, her tests will actually start to work against her own plan. The more she tries to get a reaction out of you and fails, the more worried and confused she feels. She starts asking herself, wait a minute, why isn't this working on him? Every other guy I know would have cracked by now and sent me a message. Why is he so different from everyone else? That is the exact moment when the test flips around. What started as her trying to see how strong you are, ends up with her realizing that you actually are a very strong man indeed. Silence only works if you keep it up long enough for her to really feel the weight of it. If you answer her too soon, you show her that you are not as strong as you look. But if you stay calm and quiet, you pass her test without having to say a single word out loud. This part of the process is not easy. It can feel very uncomfortable in your stomach. Your own pride will tell you to speak up and defend yourself. But you must remember that real strength is being calm. Real power is having patience. When you show her that you have these qualities, you stop being just another guy in her phone, and you become the one man she cannot stop thinking about. 3. Her curiosity turns into a deep need to know more. There is a part of the human mind that most people never talk about. Silence creates what we call a vacuum, or a big empty hole in the story, and the human brain absolutely hates empty holes. When there is no information to be found, the mind starts to fill in the blanks with its own imagination. And as we all know, our imagination is always much louder and more intense than real life could ever be. At the start, she is just a little bit curious about your life. She might wonder, why hasn't he sent me a text today? I wonder what he is doing right now. That is a very normal way for any person to think. But the longer you stay silent, the more that curiosity starts to grow into something much bigger and more dangerous for her peace of mind. It is because curiosity gets stronger when there is no ending to the story you started. Soon, it is not just curiosity anymore. It turns into an obsession, where she just cannot get you out of her head no matter what she does. Imagine this for a moment. She is lying in bed late at night looking through her phone. Usually, she would fall asleep after getting a nice text from you or after having a long talk about the day. But now, there is nothing there for her. Her phone is quiet and dark. Because of that, her mind will not stop talking to her. She starts asking herself, is he with someone else right now? Is he really finished with me for good? Has he already forgotten all about me and the things we did? The more questions she asks herself, the more she starts to feel restless and upset. That is the magic of being silent. It makes you the main star of her imagination. And unlike the real world, the version of you in her head is perfect. In her mind, you seem stronger, more mysterious, and more interesting than you ever did when you were always there and always available to talk. Your silence forces her to build a version of you in her mind that she simply cannot escape from. Here is something that most men do not realize. Women do not always miss the man himself. What they really miss is the way that man made them feel inside. When you go silent, she starts to really want that feeling again. She starts to remember the jokes you told, the sound of your voice, and even the little habits you had that used to annoy her but now she secretly misses. But since you are not there in person, those memories start to grow bigger and better than they really were. Your absence, the fact that you are gone, becomes much larger and more important than your presence ever was. Now, the problem for her is that this kind of obsession does not come with any control. She might find herself checking your social media pages 20 times a day just to see if you posted anything. She might look at who is following you or who you are following. She might even ask people you both know if they have seen you or heard from you lately. And she will do all of this while pretending to everyone else that she does not care one bit. This is the strange thing about silence. It forces her to care more about you while making her try to show it less to the world. The best part of this is that you do not have to do anything at all. You do not have to lift a finger or send a single word. This obsession grows not because you did something special, but because you stopped doing everything. This is what most men never understand. Getting attention feels good for a little while, but being gone is what makes someone truly unforgettable. The secret is to let her sit in that quiet space. Do not break the silence. Do not give her the answers she is looking for. The less she knows about what you are doing, the more she will want to find out. And that is exactly how silence turns simple curiosity into a deep obsession. 4. She starts playing back all your past moments like a movie. When you go silent, her brain does not just sit there and do nothing. Instead, it goes into a mode where it plays things back like a video on rewind. She starts replaying every single moment she ever shared with you. It becomes like a movie that she cannot stop watching over and over again. The reason this happens is quite simple. Silence forces her to look at her memories because there are no new experiences happening with you right now in the present. Think about it this way. When you were always around, always texting, and always calling her, she did not have the time to sit down and really think about the past. The present moment was always there, making a lot of noise and keeping her busy. But now, there is only quiet. And in that quiet, her mind starts reaching out for whatever is missing. And what is missing is you. At first, it is just the small things. She remembers how you laughed or the way you looked at her when you were really happy. She remembers the little things you did that she used to think were a bit much, but now she wishes she could see them again. Then, it starts to get even deeper than that. She starts replaying whole conversations in her head. She asks herself, why did he say that to me? Was he trying to tell me something important? Did I understand him correctly back then? She looks at every word you ever said and tries to find a deeper meaning. Every little detail becomes very important to her. This is where the real power of silence shows up. Because you are not there, you actually start to feel bigger in her life. You take up more room in her mind than you ever did when you were standing right in front of her. You go from being just a guy she used to talk to being a voice that echoes in her head all day long. There is something very important you should know. The past almost always feels more romantic than the right now. There is a feeling called nostalgia that acts like a soft, warm filter on our memories. It makes the fights we had not seem so bad anymore. It makes the good times feel even better than they actually were. So when she is replaying the past, you suddenly become the very best version of yourself in her head. This is why staying silent works so much better than begging her to stay. When you chase a woman, she sees you in the present moment. And in the present, a man who chases looks desperate and weak. But when you stay silent, she sees you in her memories. And in her memories, you look perfect. You win not by saying anything, but by letting her own mind do all the talking for you. Do not forget how powerful this can be. A song that plays on the radio that you used to like, a place where you used to take her, or even a silly phrase you used to say. All of these things will come rushing back to her when it is quiet. Suddenly, everyday things start to remind her of you. She might be walking through a store, hear a certain song, and boom, there you are in her head again. That is why silence is so difficult for her, but so powerful for you. You are not fighting for her attention anymore. Instead, you are living for free inside her memory. The longer she plays those past moments, the more she realizes one thing. She does not want those memories to stay in the past. She wants them to happen again right now. 5. She starts comparing you to all the other men. Being silent does not just make her think about you. It also makes her notice all the other men around her. And that is exactly where you win, without even having to try. You see, when you are quiet, you stand out from the crowd like a bright light. Most men are not quiet. Most men are desperate for a woman's attention. They are constantly sending texts, sending a second text when she doesn't reply to the first one, reacting to every single thing she posts online, and liking every one of her pictures. They are chasing her like their whole life depends on it. In the middle of all that noise and chaos, you are the only one who is not chasing her. This makes you seem very rare and special. It is a simple truth of how people think. We do not notice things that are normal and common. We notice things that are different. If every other man is throwing attention at her, your silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. You are no longer just one of the guys in the crowd. You are the special case, the exception to the rule. And being different makes people very curious. So she starts to compare you to the others. She asks herself, why does he not seem to need me the way all these other guys do? Why is he so calm while everyone else is acting so desperate and silly? What does he have that they are missing? This comparison completely changes who has the power in the relationship. Now you are not the one competing to get her. Instead, she is competing inside her own head to try and figure you out. It does not stop there either. When she sees how other men act, always trying too hard to be liked, your silence makes them look even weaker than they already are. Every text message she gets from some guy who is trying way too hard just reminds her of you. It reminds her of the man who does not have to try at all. That is when your value in her eyes goes way up. Think of it this way. Attention is cheap because you can find it anywhere. Silence is very expensive because it is so hard to find. A man who gives nothing is often seen as more valuable than the men who give everything they have. Deep down, people always want the things they cannot easily get. Now, to be honest, she will probably not say this out loud to anyone. She might even act like she does not care about you at all. But the comparison is happening inside her mind automatically. It is just how humans are built. She cannot stop it from happening. The more she sees other men give her exactly what she is used to, the more she realizes that you, by giving her nothing, are the one she wants the most. The beauty of this is that you do not have to fake it. You do not have to fight with anyone else. Your silence is more than enough to win. Every other man who is chasing her is actually doing the hard work for you. They are making you look stronger and better just by being themselves. That is why silence is so strong. It does not just affect the girl, it shows the truth about everyone else around her. Eventually, she will look at all the messages on her phone and all the guys trying to get her to notice them. And then she will think of you. She will think of the one man who is not there, and that thought by itself will make her miss you more than all that other attention put together. 6. She starts to question her own worth. This is the part where silence really starts to hurt. At first, it was just about her pride. Then it was about being curious. But as time goes on, the silence makes her start to question something she really does not want to think about: her own value as a person. Think about it this way. Most women are used to being the most important person in the room. They walk into a place and men notice them. They post a picture and get a flood of likes. They send a text and men answer them almost immediately. All of that constant attention makes them feel powerful. They feel like they are wanted, important, and that they never have to be the one doing the chasing. But when you, someone she actually liked and got attention from, suddenly stop talking, that feeling of being powerful starts to break. Her thoughts start to turn inward. She starts thinking, am I not good enough for him? Have I lost my magic? Maybe he has found someone who is better than me. These questions are very painful because they touch on her biggest fear, the fear that she can be replaced by someone else. Your silence shows her that fear in a way that words never could. Here is a secret that many men do not know. Women do not stay awake at night worrying about men who are head over heels in love with them. They stay awake worrying about the men who are not. Your silence makes her realize that she is not guaranteed to have your attention anymore. And the human brain always thinks things are more important when they are hard to get. When attention becomes something she is not sure she can have, it becomes very valuable to her. She might try to hide this feeling. She might post more pictures of herself, look for compliments from other people, or suddenly become very active on the internet. But those are actually signs that she is trying to fill the empty hole that your silence left behind. She is not worried about whether other men like her. She already knows they do. She is worried about whether you like her, and that is the question that keeps her up at night. This is the stage where women often try to reach out in a small, indirect way. She might reply to an old post of yours, send a random message about nothing, or ask you a question that does not really matter. She is not doing this because she suddenly remembered something. She is doing it because she needs you to tell her she is still important. She needs to know she still matters to you. This is when you must stay very calm. If you run back to her and start giving her all the attention she wants, you will ruin the power of your silence. But if you stay steady and let her sit with that feeling of doubt for a while, she will start to chase you. She won't just be looking for attention in general, she will be looking for attention specifically from you. Your silence makes her look in the mirror and question herself. And once she starts wondering if she is good enough for you, the balance of power has completely shifted. You are not the one who has to prove yourself anymore. She is. 7. Respect takes the place of fighting back. At the very end of this long cycle of silence, something truly amazing happens. What started as pride, curiosity, and even being annoyed slowly turns into respect. And respect is the most important part of making someone truly attracted to you for a long time. In the beginning, she might try to fight against your silence. She might think, I'll show him, he'll come back to me eventually. She might even try to ignore you back or do things to get a reaction out of you. But when you do not give in, and when you stay calm and unbothered, her fighting starts to stop. She begins to realize something about you that most men never show her. You have discipline. It It takes a lot of discipline to stay quiet when you really want to say something. It takes a lot of strength to stay calm when your feelings are telling you to act out. Women respect strength much more than they respect sweet words, fancy gifts, or a man begging for their love. Your silence sends a message that is louder than any text you could ever write. It says, I am not controlled by you. I am not desperate. I do not need your permission to feel like a complete person. That kind of self-control is very rare to find, and when something is rare, people respect it. Here's the big surprise. Respect is actually what creates real, deep desire. Being attracted to someone without respecting them is very shallow. That kind of feeling goes away as soon as someone new and shiny comes along. But respect is different. Respect makes her see you in a whole new light. You are no longer just another guy trying to win her heart. You are the man who does not break. You are the man who is not easily pushed around. And that makes you the man she secretly wants more than anyone else. When her fighting turns into respect, her whole attitude changes. She stops testing you to see if she can break you. Instead, she looks at you to see how strong you really are. And every time you stay solid and do not move, her respect for you gets even deeper. That is when she starts to chase you, not just because she wants attention, but because she wants your approval. Deep down, every woman wants to know that she has earned the respect of a man she truly looks up to. The funny thing is this: silence does not just get her to notice you, it gets her to respect you. And once she respects you, attraction follows naturally. You do not have to shout at her. You do not have to prove how great you are. You do not even have to explain why you are doing what you are doing. Your silence has already said everything that needs to be said. Here is the final truth you should remember. People can doubt words. People can fake actions. But silence? Silence is something you cannot argue with. She might doubt your text messages. She might not believe your promises. But she cannot ignore the strength it takes for a man to stay quiet. That is why, at the end of it all, her fighting goes away and is replaced by something much more powerful: respect. Silence is not about being weak. It is about being strong. It is not about ignoring her just to hurt her feelings. It is about showing her that you value yourself enough that you will never beg for someone to notice you. When you learn how to be truly silent, she does not just think about you, she respects you. If this message made sense to you today, please leave a comment that says, I choose silence. I want you to know that choosing this path is about honoring yourself. It is about knowing your worth as a human being. When you stand in your own power, the world responds to you differently. She will respond to you differently. You are becoming a man of depth and strength, and that is a beautiful thing to see. Thank you for spending this time with us. Remember that you are valuable and you are strong. Walk with your head held high and let the quiet do the work for you. You have everything you need inside of you already. Peace and strength to you, my friend.